Hello. Finally, I'm back. With the normal 1cc ReimuC Subterranean Animism clear. I guess the clear is part of the 1cc, huh? Anyways. Yeah, this one took a while, huh? About a month now since the last one, and I haven't been playing these games any less than I was before. Still, you know, at least one run a day, about 20 to 30 minutes. That's usually how long a run goes for. But I mean, I've given this one some extra time too, honestly. I had to very deliberately practice some stages, some bosses, some spell cards. And I'll be honest with you, this is not a pretty run. I think mechanically, rip this band-aid off right now, I think mechanically this might be my least favorite Touhou game so far, except for 9. But 9 is just so far out there, it's hard to even like compare it to the others. This one, it's much simpler. And while we're going through the mostly easy stage 1 stuff right now, I think I'd just talk a little bit about what I don't like about this game, because it'll be much more apparent later if I don't have to go through all this while that's happening. It'd be easier. But yeah, so this game has the introduction of life pieces. Every time you clear a boss's basic attack pattern or spell card pattern without dying, you get a piece of a life, and 5 pieces make 1 life. Without dying is the key term there, because it is only without dying that you don't get, or that you do get the life piece, which means you can bomb as much as you want to get the life piece. And in fact you should, because there's no way to get lives in this game without these life pieces, right? There's no more stage 3 mid-boss, stage 5 mid-boss 1-ups, there's no more point 1-ups. So the only way to get your lives, your extra lives, is by clearing these spell patterns. And of course, if you can clear it without bombing, that's, better. You get to hold on to your power still. But it's clearly, you want to get the life pieces. You really do want to get the life pieces, because this is not an easy, normal clear. So yeah, there's a lot of times where I'm going to just bomb immediately at the start of a spell card, or an attack pattern or something like that, because lives have become so much more valuable in this game just because of how it's not even scarce really, it's just limited, if that makes sense, right? It's not like there's not a lot of places to get get your lives. It's just so much more difficult to get them past a certain point, right? Once you get to stage 4, stage 5, stage 6, it's not, you get things start to get really hard, and so it's not a guarantee. It's not so simple to just clear any particular spell card without using a bomb, without dying, I should say, because that's the real kicker here, right? Because bombing is cheap and dying is expensive, more so than ever. But here we are. Yeah, we've got through stage 1 pretty easy. This stage 2 is kind of insane. I'm pretty sure I lost my first run on stage 2, which is crazy to I died on stage 2. I've 1cc'd of the past 5 games. Never have I lost on stage 2 before on my first run. But that was this game. So you notice there, I kind of went past it, I'm talking a bunch. But that's the point of these videos. I bombed Green-Eyed Monster right here. This is not the hardest spell card to deal with, but it is very annoying and time-consuming. And again, you can guarantee yourself the life piece by just bombing through it. Aya's bomb is very good for dealing massive damage. As you can see, I'm just shotgunning Parsi, and then I'm just hit X when the bullets come on, and then she's gone, and then you get your power refunded too on that one. You get enough, you get 1 power. So if you have a bomb that damages particularly, this is a good place to use it. Yeah, I guess we'll talk about the tragedy of Touhou 11 is the death of homing amulet Reimu. ReimuA, the ReimuA dynasty has ended with Touhou 11. I ran ReimuC. I went back and forth, honestly. I tried to make ReimuB, Suika Reimu work, because she's got the weird homing thing. It just does so little damage, though. It's not even worth. It just felt terrible to use, and her bomb is very lackluster, and her movement ability is very nice. It's very convenient, but it's not very. What's the term for it? It's not very interesting. I guess you just kind of let go of everything and then get everything on screen, which yeah, it has its perks. But I don't know. Between Yukari's like teleporting from one side of the screen to the other, which is so cool, it's just not very useful. And Aya's super speed. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna be picking no touch all item get. It's just not. It doesn't sound very fun. Yeah. Speaking of, Aya's super speed. Probably don't need to tell you this. Is a double-edged sword for sure. You can see like right there. It lets me get to the top of the screen super fast. It makes collecting points, big bunches of points and whatnot, very consistent, very easy to do. But so would not pressing anything on your keyboard, right? That's about it. That's about it. There's sometimes it helps you get from one side of the screen to the other very fast, but you know, these movement abilities, at least on Reimu, none of them are like, oh man, that's really that's a big game changer. So, mutter. Here we are on to stage 3. You notice I'm racking up the lives. That's going to keep going for a while. This is a really good spot for ReimuC. I fuck it up right here, which is sad. But if you can aim your Dao, your yin-yang orbs, right, whatever you want to call them, you can get both of these lines of fairies and not have to deal with any of these red bullets. I believe this run was like my third of the day. Not my third run per se, but like I'd restarted 3 times already at this point because I got hit by small things early on. I was like, no, there's no way I'm running that one all the way through. So I'm not playing at my A game, which may actually have contributed to why I actually ended up clearing the game on this. Cause like, nah, fuck it, I'm bombing. I don't want to deal with this. And you know, it gets you through the game, right? As if for a first clear, I can't complain too much. Okay, here's the first spell card that I really do want to talk about. This is sort of like Hina's from the last game. When I was just learning this spell card, just starting out, I would hang out like around here, like I would with Hina's too, actually. And you're shotgunning into Yugi, but then you see what happens here is all of this is going to come up from behind, and not just from behind, but from every direction, and you are going to be scrambling and likely die. So what's best to do is, as you may have just noticed, sit relatively close to Yugi and shotgun her for a bit. Then when she starts turning the bullets red, fall back to the bottom here. And this first pattern she does of it is pretty fixed. You can kind of just sit down here, and you won't really have to worry about anything coming from the left or right if you're in the right spot. You can see I'm really not moving up or down at all. You just have to look out for these few red ones coming down from the top. You can slip through them fairly simple once you do it. Like I said, doesn't change much. It's the second and third volleys you'll need to be more careful about, because Yugi will change her position on the screen, and thus the arrows that are heading towards you will change as well. So that is something to keep in mind. Perhaps quite unique for the series. I don't know, we'll see as games go on. But Yugi sticks around for the rest of the stage here. You can attack her. I think you get points for it. Yeah, you do. But you don't. Nothing happens if you deal enough damage to her or whatever. This is a really troublesome part for me. The pink Dow that shoot these lasers are not so bad. It's the blue ones that are really tough because they shoot these targeted little balls. You could see towards the beginning of this segment, I was using, yeah, I'm pretty aggressive in trying to get rid of those blue Dow because they force you to move in a pattern where you really don't want to be moving that much, because you know these lasers all over the place, and Yugi's got her own balls flying around, and well, it's just a lot going on. But anyways, after that chunk of stage 3, you're on to the Yugi boss fight. This is, you know, as far as stage 3's bosses go, this is a real pain in the ass, you know. I've died an awful lot of times to this boss. The first spell card is not too bad. It looks a lot scarier than it actually is. It's one where I feel like I'm gonna die all the time on it, but I think I've died maybe once, really, in all my attempts at this. You just kind of sit towards the back, and these green ones will fall straight down, while the yellow balls will rotate, I guess is the right term. They'll drift. You'll see, yeah, drifting in kind of these waves. And the blue bullets come out, and you get these green balls. And they do, oh no, they do. Yeah, okay, so they crisscross. Some of them crisscross. Some of them don't. Either way, you should look for the gaps. There's some very obvious gaps, some very obvious tunnels to hide in on this one. You can see it, right? You've got here, and you've got here, and you've got here. You just need to be able to see these tunnels, move into them, move through them, and then just stay moving in between the tunnels like that. And this can become tougher, of course, when things start overlapping the different tunnels like that. But otherwise, it's not too big of a deal at all. This is a very painful spell card here. At least the start is. It's actually very easy once you're through this part. You have to deal enough damage to this to get your life piece here. It's a real meanie head move of Zun. I've definitely dropped the light piece, or the life piece, just because of, you know, I've bombed too many times or whatever in the run, and my power is too low to grab the piece. But other than that, yeah, you just shotgun Yugi down and follow her. It's pretty simple. I'd recommend not getting much closer than this kind of blue circle here, because she'll spawn these, you know, what, I don't know what you want to call that, these blue waves, blue bent beams. I'm not sure what they're supposed to be, but yeah, I mean, they'll kill you if you touch them, so, you know, don't touch them. These lasers are pretty easy to deal with, actually. I find just sitting under Yugi is more than enough to get out of the way. You'll usually only destroy like 2 or 3 Dow this way, but that gap will allow you to damage Yugi, and it'll clear up enough space for you to, you know, not just be crushed. So you can see here, you really want to focus on whatever needles are closest to you. Those are the only ones that are really going to be a problem, as long as you only, you know, keep your movements to a minimum. So right here, I don't think I need to move at all, honestly. So I imagine I don't move at all. I move up a little bit to get out of the way of one of them. But as long as you're keeping your focus on the lasers pointed towards you, you really don't have to do anything too fancy for this attack pattern. This one is a little sad. I've definitely been killed many times trying to slip through gaps between these jelly donuts. And it's not fun. It's not fun when that happens. I recommend sitting towards the center just for the damage on Yugi. Try to hold a little far back if you can. There's 3 lanes here. There's like sort of here. There's sort of here. Everything down here is slow. Everything up here is moving too fast to deal with. So you want to take your space kind of cautiously. You don't want to get too close where you're in the fast lane of the orbs, because you won't have great chances to react to anything. And you also don't want to be down here, because this will limit your space a lot. And if, you know, two orbs come down at you and you can't get out of the way, you're going to get hit. And worst of all, if you get up here, when you have a situation you can't get through down here, you have very little reaction time to what's coming over here, right? Because this corner is towards the right of the screen, and the balls are coming from the right of the screen. You get it. You just kind of want to sit towards the center back here and move up and down, or just diagonally, whichever is quickest to get you out of the way of the foremost orb, at least in terms of foremost to hitting you. Yeah, so here's one I just bombed through. You don't get any power for it, but it is such a painful spell. I think it's worth rewinding to get explain why. This is too far. This is way too far back. So it's basically this exact spell, except something changes. So you saw those blue balls come down at you, and then these yellow balls come in from the sides of the screen. But they're up here, right? They come in like that. In the other spell card, those yellow balls come in from these sides. Or, well, the same sides, but lower on the screen, right? So you're going to be squished between them. And you can't play up too close either, right? Because these blue balls are scattered all about and they're aimed at you. So what you end up having to do to get through it is dodging the blue balls in whichever direction you favor, right? To the right or the left. And then weaving through the wall that comes at you, and then moving up to get out of the way of the wall you didn't navigate through first, if that makes sense. This is kind of here. Let's go back a little bit more, and I'll use the walls on this pattern as an example. So you see there, those ones came in from the right, those ones came in from the left. I dodged to the left here, so I would probably want to go through the ones on the left first, and then after getting through that, there'd be, you know, the bunch that came from the right. I would want to get through that, and then from there, or sorry, no, you wouldn't. You want to get through the ones coming from the right, but you'd also probably want to get up as well, because it just is the easier way to deal with it, as you have much less to dodge from the wall if you can get over the wall, if you get my meaning. Like, if you're up here, you don't have to worry about the wall so much next time. But obviously, it's very difficult. It's very problematic, because it puts you in a position where you're not damaging Yugi. Whoa, a little far ahead there. Where it puts you in a position where you're not damaging Yugi anymore. And, yeah, that's no good. You want to be dealing damage to the boss, because if you're not dealing damage to the boss, you're going to have to keep dealing with that spell. And any spell that makes you run all the way to the wall and like sticks you there is probably just not something you want to spend a lot of time dealing with. This last spell card is a mixed bag for me. I think it's really cool, but this first phase with the two blue spikes is very crap, very poop crap. It's really a crapshoot if you can get through these dark blue crystals at the start. I got lucky here. I've got this gap here. I'm just gonna chill and let it fly past me. But sometimes it's not that easy. Sometimes I really do feel forced to bomb to get through that portion. This is, you know, much simpler. These red ones will leave this nice gap here, and this gap will stay there basically for the whole of this segment of the pattern. And you just slip on through there when you get your chance, and then you can just head down the pink crystals after that, and then the pattern repeats itself. It can be nice to hang in the back a bit here, because this will cause some of the bullets to despawn I'm getting up close here to try and shotgun and close it out. Which, you know, I succeeded, so, you know, I mean, yeah, it's always good to get the kill if you can and not deal with the pattern. It's also a pretty good boss fight to bomb on if you need to, because after that you get this stage 4 entrance right here with these red Dow. These are all worth, you know, 1 P each when they die. So what is that? There's 0.6 here. Let's see, yeah, there's 0.6 power here. And then you'll get some more if you manage to beat up this mysterious cat as well. Kind of a tricky pattern here. As usual, I was playing it up close more often than not, and I was dying a lot. Turns out if you just sit towards the bottom, most of these red balls will just be targeted on you, and you can move left and right, up and down, very gradually, very incrementally, very simple to deal with. You can try and destroy those wisps up there if you want. I don't find it really helpful to do so. But after that, you're out and you're into these nice blue talisman. I don't know if you're playing this already. If you've played this before, I have some weird thing where looking out of my peripheral at bullets coming at me, I have a hard time distinguishing between these talisman and the little blue point marks. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but I found myself dodging point marks before, thinking there were those talisman coming at me. It's an interesting thing. So again, more power there if you bombed, but I haven't yet. And so the mysterious cat lets loose with a pretty basic pattern here. This is something I'm pretty sure I bombed through. Yeah. I bombed through a lot of this. I don't say a lot of this stage. There's one portion after this that I definitely am going to bomb through a lot. It's coming up right about now once these green talismans start coming out. Yeah, there they are. The green talismans themselves are not so bad, but there's these fairies that shoot these snowballs that are targeted on you, and I'm denying much of that happening right now by bombing, but it is. It'll press you up against the side of the screen like this very quickly. Yeah, Aya's bomb is very fun too. If you can't tell, I love hitting X and flying around at super speed and clearing the top of the stage. It's really good for recouping power in situations like that. Obviously, I'm not getting full bombs back. The game's designed well enough that I'm not, like, you know, just cheesing it completely here, but, you know, I'm getting a nice little cash back, little power back on that. And that is another spot worth bombing on too, because that was a life point we just got there, as well as some more power. Like, this is worth 1 power, this greater fairy. So if you need to bomb here, by all means, you can do so and you'll get your bomb back. And moreover, Satori's here. Satori's first basic attacks are very easy, I find. Easier than Yugi's, almost. It's basically just, do you know where to be? So that first pattern there, quite simple. Quite simple, quite simple. You get the jelly donuts coming down. Oops. I just missed it again. Gosh. Alright. Okay. Yes, the balls will come down. You want to make your way through this gap here between these 2 bullets, the red and blue bullet. Navigate around the cream of the donut there, and then just kind of slip through that opening at the end. And you can repeat the same thing down here. You just get by the cream of this donut and slip through the opening. You can, if you're looking to get some style points, or if you want to build grays, you can slip through the center of these 2 donuts. I don't like doing that because it just makes me uncomfortable, like going in there for no reason. But if you want to do that, you can. But yeah, there you go. Easy life piece for you there. Another pretty simple spell pattern here. You just kind of wait for these lasers to lock onto you before you start moving to the right. Because if you don't, you'll get trapped in a tunnel of lasers, and these jelly donuts will almost kill you. Like a very closely almost happened to me there. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that's pretty simple clear. This is almost the same pattern before, just without the jelly donuts. Same principle of dealing with it. Just head straight through the center once it's open. Look for your gap on the right. In my case, I like going to the right. I'm pretty sure Satori follows you when she uses this pattern, so you don't have to worry about being in the preferable position. And now we're on the really cool part of Satori's boss fight, where she copies your partner's techniques and spell cards. In any other game, this would be panned as reusing assets, but in here it's a freaking cool boss fight. And so that was one of Aya's spell cards from Mountain of Faith. I don't know if this is from Mountain of Faith, maybe on one of the higher difficulties, but it's pretty. If you want to deal with the other one, you can go back to Mountain of Faith and watch how I dealt with it there. If this one is just tricky. I feel compelled to bomb quite often. It's mostly due to my love of holding focus down and just having absolute control over my character. But if you sit towards the center of the screen, you can navigate pretty easily. You don't want to sit too far back on this one because it's just a huge risk, right? If something is coming at you from like the side here, like that, you're not going to have anywhere to go down to get out of the way. You're going to need to either move right, which could put you in the way of another arrow, or you need to move upward, which could put you in the way of another arrow. So yeah, it's really just best to play this one towards the center, I feel. Even though I bomb on it, but it is a very painful spell card. It takes me a very long time to clear it when I do clear it. I think I do it really poorly here, but you want to be in this gap here when they're when these balls are shrinking. You want to be in the gaps, and when you have these two close together ones here, you want to be like out over here or over here, whichever strikes your fancy. And then when you see, like, this ball's coming in now, so I'm going to have to move back towards the center, right, once things shrink up again. And then you're in the center, and eventually you're going to move out to one of the sides again. And then that's how you deal with it. That's how you deal with it. But man, that takes a really long time because, all those times you're at the side, you're not dealing damage. So, yeah, you can run the clock on it. It's pretty bad. So anyway, yeah, wow, what a spotless playthrough so far, right? I've got 8 lives and 8 1/5 lives, 2.5 power, but who's counting? Who's keeping score, right? And that's not me. Well, yeah, I mean, we're about to see why 8 1/5 lives doesn't get you that much. So this first pattern here is somewhat troublesome. You want to be attacking. I find these Dao are dropping these red balls which kind of float, and then you'll hear that chime sound, which means those red balls will then be heading towards you. They're very slow. They head very slowly towards you, but they are still heading towards you. I went too far back. So you see here, I'm trying to set my aim up so that I'm hitting both balls at the same time. I don't get it though. I find it easier to move from side to side with this one, just because you can see those red balls closing in. Makes that one side of the screen particularly busy. We don't like that. We don't like busy. We want things to be nice and serene and peaceful. So just move back and forth and attack the Dao as they come in. I get a little panicked here. I remember that because the next pattern starts and these wisps come in. You kill these wisps, they shoot these triplets of blue balls straight at you. But thankfully I regained my composure and I don't get killed for it. And this is pretty easy. This is I want to call it an idiot trap because obviously if you're going for a high score you're going to want to kill those wisps. But if you're just playing to survive, you can just hide in one of these lanes here and chill out. And if you're even feeling a little cool with it, you can shoot some of the wisps, have their burst come down. You can dodge it very easily because you planned for it, and you can pick up their power drops or their point drops or what have you. I believe this is where I get my first death. I practiced this a lot and I still mess it up here. I think I accidentally stopped shooting, but the secret to it is to be in focus, head down this path, and then when you need to head the other direction, you want to let go of your focus and move very incrementally, right? You want to just tap, tap, tap. Oh, you want to just tap, tap, tap your keyboard to scoot through. Yes, okay, so I get it right at least once here. Yeah, that sucks. The problem with this is, even though I mess it up here, okay, yeah, that's where it is. So as you can see, I've lost 2 lives already to the mid-boss's basic pattern. Attacking here, so let me slow down a bit. I attack all the time on there. It's necessary, right, for Aya's kit to attack like that, or else you just go at ludicrous speed and you die in inane ways like I just did. I believe I die around here too as well, but let me talk about that pattern real quick with the cat. Yeah, so you can see up here, you'll get rid of this first bar and she'll move on to another attack pattern, and then she'll move on to a spell card eventually. You don't need to do all that. You can just survive it, and you won't get the extra life, but I would almost say it's worth it to not deal with the spell card and the other attack that comes after this, because it's a very annoying spell card. It's just a very annoying. This is a very annoying boss. Yeah, we'll get there. But yeah, even trying to kill, even just not just playing to survive, but holding Z down the whole time to fire at that boss, that mid boss. I just can't clear. I just can't clear it with this kit. I was able to do it with ReimuC when I was trying to game out with ReimuC, but it's not worth it, like I'm saying. So here's where it gets crazy. These Dao will come and they'll shoot these blue-green bullet walls, and they're worth loathing. They're worth fearing and loathing and trembling and all the other things that come with fear. And they're worth bombing through, honestly, because they drop some power, so you're getting cash back. And you might see, well, you look at the screen there, and you're like, well, that doesn't look that bad. It's like, well, you forgot I just bombed twice and like mopped up the screen 2 times. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculously ridiculous to deal with. Otherwise, mad props to the normal players out there who can deal with that crap, because I don't even know where to start. I've seen people dealing with it before. They kind of just start on one side of the screen. When the Dao come in and they let the walls come in and they move just enough to get out of the way of the walls, but not too much as to give up too much space on the screen. But oh man, it's rough. And you have those little white and black orbs, black balls all over the place too. Not good. Not good. Just really challenging pattern especially for normal, I would say. Yeah, these red wisps are good to shoot for power. Just a quick little tip. They drop, 0.05. They drop one power point. 1 power point. They drop 1 power point. Which is good because you're gonna need all the power you can get for this boss. You're gonna get boss Orin. Orin is pretty fucking tough, honestly. This first basic pattern is the easiest thing you'll have to deal with. You can see these rows of crystals come down, and you just slip through when they start falling fast, and you just stay under Orin. This is such a painful bomb. Painful. It's not a painful bomb. It's quite simple with a bomb. It's such a painful spell card. These ghost fairies will fly at you, and they will die and drop these snow white balls that'll explode all over the place and head towards you. Moreover, as you can see, Orin will start spraying blue balls out all over the place from up here. And what's more, when you do kill these fairies, they become little ghosts, and they will eventually resurrect and come back to life and do all of this again. And yes, if these ghost fairies do touch you, you will die. I didn't take my own advice here. I tried to kind of play out as much of the spell card as I could before bombing. I hate this basic attack pattern so much. It's definitely doable. I've done it before, but you kind of have to sit around here or here, just near the entrance, near the end of one of these blue crystal lines. Wait for the wisps to explode, because these volleys are somewhat targeted, and then move through here while avoiding the volley. It's not. Let's see if you can see it more clearly. So yeah, you gotta be moving through like this and getting through the volleys there. Not fun, because the next volley is on its way too, right? So yeah, I end up bombing through it, and this is a particularly tough fight for ReimuC, because moving means I have to reorient my Tao to get my maximum damage potential off. This is probably my favorite spell card of this fight, and yes, I bombed through it anyway. But you have these green wisps show up with these walls of blue bullets. The wisps converge towards the center and then explode. I should just let you see it, shouldn't I? They explode, and then the blue walls will head outward. Yeah, so it's basically, you'll get to see me actually deal with it now, because I can't bomb anymore. But you want to look for the openings in the blue walls as they start to collapse and move through them. And you want to be careful not to do what I just did here, because this will trap you on one side of the screen, and it'll make it very difficult to shoot at these green wisps, which if you do touch, they will kill you. I believe that's what happens to me here. But you want to navigate in this order, right? So the wall that exploded, or the wall that's coming back around, right? The inverse wall you want to move through first, and then you want to move through the wall collapsing after that, and you're dodging the green wisps if it's necessary. It also helps to be towards the center if you can, because Orin is going to be towards the center, and the spell won't really end that quickly if you don't move. Here's another basic attack pattern from this boss I absolutely hate. The trick of it is to be in one particular area of the pattern, and then you can just chill that particular. So you see these wisps will kind of center the pattern. It almost looks like a big bird to me. You have like the head of the bird here, and then the place you want to be, by the way, is right here, right? So if this is the head of the bird, you want to be right around the neck. You want to be at this gap in the neck, and then you don't have to move much at all. That's a really unfortunate time for the screen to tear. Dang it. And that's me bombing it. Let's see. Yeah, so there you can see, sitting in there usually keeps you safe, because the wisps here will be shooting their blue balls for the rest of the pattern outward at a quick pace, so that they don't hit you, right? So you're kind of in the shadow of all the balls coming out of there. I don't think I display it. I guess I kind of showed it right there. But yeah, alright, I get to be negative again. It's another insufferable pattern here. You have these slow pink crystals moving down, and then these spinning orbs here, spinning wisp clusters, I don't know what you want to call them, but you can't break them, right? They're wisps, but you can't break them, and you can't bomb through them, and they will kill you if you touch them, obviously. So you can see there, right, the bomb didn't get rid of them. So I'm just, I'm trying to chill and just get through it simply. And you know, you can say, like, why would you just bomb through this boss so much? And like, touche, right? It's like, that's kind of lame to do. But at the same time, it's like, the game sort of incentivizes that, right? It's like, if I hadn't bombed there, and I'd been like, alright, let's try and tough it out. Let's try and tough it out, and get this pattern done the right way. Well, then I'm risking my 4th life on that, right? When I have a bomb. And if, you know, you've heard me talk about the game in these games in the past, you know that you want a life more than you want a bomb, right? If you have to choose between a guaranteed life or holding on to a bomb, you should pick the life every time. So of course I'm gonna bomb. That's what I'm saying. Now so this card is just chaos. These fairies die, and they drop massive jelly donut volleys. And you have these blue balls coming in from the side, and Auron is shooting out these little blue tacks. I don't know what they are. Yet another bullet in the Touhou franchise. If you bomb and shotgun her with ReimuC, this works very well. You can clear it with just one bomb very safely. Unfortunately, I don't have enough power to do that, right? So I'm just, you know, no extra damage here, just the bomb. And so I have to survive by the skin of my own teeth, which I managed to do quite miraculously. And, well, there we are. And so what was 8 1/5 lives is now 4 1/5 lives. Very sad to see. But hey, once you get past that point, I can congratulate you as you've beat the final boss of Touhou 5. The actual final boss of this game, in my opinion, is easier than Auron. Hell, this stage might be easier than Auron. Well, okay, this stage might be easier than Auron's stage. So we breezed through a really important part at the beginning there. You get a healthy heap of power by killing all these birds. So make sure you do that, and if you're really worried about keeping your power high for this stage, just know that you will have at least 1 power coming your way, even if you're at like the lowest power setting like I was there. This is the only super problematic part of this stage, is these wisps and their pink balls coming in. I bombed really early there, because I stressed myself out, but you can see these will force you up and around the stage very quickly, and they are relentless, and they will head down the stage too, so they will take up space that normally you would be able to maneuver around in a pattern like this, where you're just supposed to move very incrementally, very, you know, taking the minimum amount of space you need to prevent yourself from dying. And it cost me a life there, unfortunately. Auron shows up again. This is probably my actual favorite Auron spell card, the stage 6 mid-boss Auron spell card. It's visually very pretty. I love the effect they've got. It's like Nitori's, that one Nitori spell card in the last game in Mountain of Faith. But this is a nice little timing spell card here. You get into a nice groove once you figure it out. You just, it might be 1 second exactly. It really does feel like tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. Very fun to do. This is, those birds, not very scary. If you just sit in the center and shoot straight ahead, you will clear a column for yourself to navigate quite simply. This is a nice little challenge here. It's kind of funny because Satori has a spell card that she copies off of Yukari, so if you're playing ReimuA, you'll see it. And it works much like that, except it's far harder. It's far faster, far much more movement required to navigate around it. But it's no big deal otherwise. So here we are, Utsuho, final boss of the game, Touhou 11 Subterranean Animism, here in the center, the depths of hell, with the bird who swallowed a god. First spell, I mean, I thought we don't really need to talk about it much. Hang towards the back, and you will see when she releases there, you can see those little grooves. Those grooves are going to be your openings. You want to be sitting in one of those openings, because this shit will come at you fast, and you will die if you're not in the right spot. So just get in the right spot. There's not a lot to say. It's just that look what's happening and get out of the way. This is not look what's happening, get out of the way. You do have to do that because these suns are absurd. They're very large and slow moving, and you have these blue balls you need to navigate. So the first order of business is to get out of the way of whichever sun is the most imminent threat. And then you want to get out of the way of the little blue balls surrounding or interfering with you proceeding peacefully through that path. God, yeah, it's just tough, man. I definitely feel forced to bomb quite like right there. I really don't know. I'm sure the secret is in letting go of the shift key and using some more speedy movement, right? Let's do some. I've kind of gotten away from this. Is like looking at how or if I could have survived a particular situation where I end up bombing or dying. Which, it's because I do enough of that when I'm playing the game by myself. But it could be nice. It could be nice to see here. I'm struggling to catch the moment where I decide to bomb here. So kind of like right here. So if I'd kept holding shift down, yeah, I could have moved up into the left here, I guess, and moved through this gap here. And then been in a good position to move through the gap in these suns. I don't even, you see what I'm getting at though, right? I talk about the gap in the suns, like, I bet you could get through there, but the hitbox on these suns is very ambiguous, much like on the jelly donuts of yore. These suns are very much a pain in the ass. And as you can see, you want to hold on to your bombs as much as you can for that first spell card, because Utsuho, she took more than 2 bombs worth of damage to take down there. So please, please, it does help to actually try and deal with that spell card the normal way before just bombing through it. Alright, onto this normal attack pattern. This beat the shit out of me the first time I dealt with it, and then after that I've never really had too much trouble with it. These pink rays come down. It's kind of like the yellow rays from the start of the fight. You just kind of look where the gap is, go to the gap, mind the slow-moving pink balls, get to a space where you don't have to worry about the slow-moving pink balls, move through the next gap, and then worry about the big jelly donuts. Repeat. The only problem here, of course, is Utsuho is moving around all over the place, so this can take quite a while to clear. I see I got my shit rocked there. I was in a pretty tough spot. This is such a cool spell card. Love this one. Mega Flare, banger name for a spell. I think I die very fast on this run, unfortunately. Yeah, I die. Okay, no, I perfect bomb out of there. I counter bomb out of there. So, not quite. I definitely, failed, but did not technically die. Yeah, you want to sit towards the back and wait for the so-called flares to shrink down, all the while minding the blue balls that erupt from them when they make that bursting noise. So it's kind of just a matter of looking ahead, because once the balls are down here, they're not really a threat. So you just need to be in a position where, if these balls stayed at this size and moved straight down, I would be dead, but they're not going to, right? So you need to predict where the gap is going to be before it's there. So you can see I'm trying to play close to that right there. I recognize I'm not going to be able to get through this. Probably didn't need to bomb, but Like, I was already moving to the left to avoid the oncoming flares. Well, that's not the same bomb. See, yeah, right here, I think. Yeah, so I probably was thinking to move left, but I thought I couldn't move left because of that flare that was there. Either way, I bombed through it. Like I said, I'm a little tired, I'm a little cranky at this point because I've had some cheap deaths, some runs I quit early. This is another one of Utsuho's spells that just beat the shit out of me the first time, and then I've never lost to it again. It's just a consistent safe spot every time. If you need help, look for these kind of red faint rings here in the background. Sit around there. You want to be sitting directly under Utsuho as well. And you'll be in a pretty good spot. Once you figure this out, yeah, it's just as simple as following Utsuho around. You can even you can farm some graze if you're feeling cheeky, feeling a little tough. Here's another cool one. I think this one looks a lot more intimidating than it actually is. Dealing with it one piece at a time is the best way to do it. You want to be moving up and down almost exclusively, right? You don't want to be moving left and right very much here. You want to move up to get out of the way of the ring of outer flares. So you have this ring here of these big red inner flares, and you can see here this ring of outer flares. You want to move up and down in accordance with the rings of flares, right? So here I'm down for the inner flares, and then later I'm going to be up for the outer flares. And the trick of it is to synchronize those up and down movements with the hallways provided by these yellow bullets. So if that sounds like a lot, it's a lot easier to just see it happen, I think. You can see I'm moving up into one hallway, into another, in accordance with the flare rings, the sun rings. I'm getting inconsistent. I'm going to just try and call them flares from now on. But here they're called stars, so like, who knows, whatever. So here we are, a new iteration on the pink beam thing. This time there's these yellow jelly donuts that move faster than the red ones did, and they are also aimed straight at you. I don't remember if the red ones were, but they do move faster, that for sure. Oh, that was tricky. That was an unfortunate place to bomb, just because there was so little left of that phase, that attack pattern. Here's another super cool super cool spell pattern. You have these two giant flares, of course, and you want to be towards the very center here. I know it might feel scary, but you do need to be towards the very center here. And then you can just gently move left and right to navigate through these little white orbs that are erupting from the center of the flares. The first time I dealt with this card, I saw the two tiny flares going up and down. I'm like, oh crap, this is going to be some big like beam that just covers the entire middle of the screen, and I went over here. Don't do that. Do not go over here. You will. You can if you're feeling up to it, you can watch over there and recognize just how much more difficult it's going to be to deal with it being on that side of the screen. And also, of course, you're not damaging Utsuho, so you're going to just be sitting over there for 60 seconds or whatever, dodging a much more difficult pattern for no reason. And you can see it's not so bad, right? I might die again here. I don't remember if I do or not, but yeah, I do. Yeah, I die again. It's no biggie. I wouldn't even worry too much about attacking Utsuho. If you're that close to the center, you're going to be hitting her at least a little anyway. So focus more on dodging. Anyways, we're here. We're on the final spell card. And what a... I mean, this boss fight is ridiculously cool. It's such a shame that I hate the Orin boss fight so much, because Utsuho's is just fucking awesome. The design and nuclear fusion, such a great theme, and this final spell card is really the cherry on the cake. Zun saw players like me who just hold the shift key down and never want to let go of it. And he's like, what if I made a spell card for those guys? And he did. So you can see here, you just want to be, oh, you almost play it like a platformer now, right? As you're just moving your Reimu around the halls, and you're keeping her aligned and out of the way of these red orbs. I don't even know if I needed that last bomb, but, you know, why not celebrate? Game over. So, yeah, that was it. That was my first 1cc, normal 1cc with ReimuC in Subterranean Animism. I paused it. Can we get some... It doesn't even play the game over music. That's a shame. Anyway, we have the next game in the series up is UFO. And I've heard from some people that it's harder than this one, and I've heard from others that it's easier than this one. So it seems like it might just be a matter of taste. Either way, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm probably going to take a little break here. Alright, I want to play that Cherno lifts a giant boulder. Cherno pushes, I don't remember what it's called exactly. It came out yesterday, I think. And it's a Touhou 3D platformer. It looked really fun. So yeah, I'm gonna take a little break and play a nice little 3D platformer. And then I'll move on to UFO, because I think I mentioned in a previous video I got Touhou's 9 through 11 from Christmas gifts from friends, so I don't actually have UFO yet. So it's a good opportunity to take a little break, I think. But yeah, overall, despite my gripes with the bombs and the player points system in this game, I don't think it's bad at all. If anyone told me this was their favorite Touhou game, I wouldn't have any qualms with it. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you found something in here useful, or hope you at least enjoyed my commentary. And I'll see you in Touhou 12. Bye bye.